This is the second in a series of 5 monthly caucus polls that we're doing, where Iowa State University is partnering with a company called Civiqs, who's actually conducting the poll for us. In this poll, we have as the first choice the same as last month, and that is Elizabeth Warren's in first choice. This month she's at 28%, which is a slight increase from last month, and is pretty consistent with some of the other polls that we've seen in Iowa. What's inconsistent, what's new in this poll, is the second place candidate, which is Pete Buttigieg. He's at second place with 20%, which is a pretty big increase from last month. It sort of shows that the amount of time and effort he's put into campaigning in Iowa really seems to be paying off for him. Third place, just a hair behind Buttigieg at 18%, is Bernie Sanders. Given the month that Sanders has had with his surprising heart attack, he staying in third place is pretty good for him. And then in fourth place, down there a fair ways at 12%, is Vice President Biden. This has to be a disappointing result for Biden, and it shows that he's fading pretty substantially, at least according to our data. No other candidate in the poll was above 5%, and so there's a pretty sizable gap between the four frontrunners of Warren, Buttigieg, Sanders, and Biden, and essentially everything else. We asked a series of other questions that have some interesting results in them as well. We asked second choice. So, if your first choice drops out, or in Iowa with the caucuses, if your first choice ends up being not viable on caucus night, who's your second choice? And it's pretty much the same pattern. Warren, Buttigieg, Sanders, and Biden are all near the top at second choice. The other thing that's a little different about our poll versus a lot of the other polls is that we actually ask respondents who do they not want to be the nominee. And this is an open-ended question. So in the first choice and second choice, we give them the full list of 19 possible candidates. But in this question, we ask them to just freely respond with whoever comes to mind. And so they have to actively list the candidates that they don't want. The two least favored, the two most opposed candidates in this wave are the same as what we found in September. That is, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are the two who have the most opposition. The one change from last month to this month is that Tulsi Gabbard has increased dramatically. She was at about a little under 7% of caucus goers who said they did not want her to be the nominee, and she's up to 17% now. The Sanders and Biden are the only other two candidates who are above 10% in the do not want. So this is a sizable change for Gabbard, which is probably an indication of some of the penalties she's paid from the brouhaha with Hillary Clinton over the weekend.